So you finally cracked the code. Look who just discovered the truth about their DNA. Look who finally understood why every locked door in their life swung open with just a touch. Look who realized they've been carrying ancient access codes in their bloodstream this whole time. You beautiful, encrypted, genetically modified masterpiece. Let's talk about that move you made, the one that shouldn't have worked, the one that required credentials you weren't supposed to have, the one that made the gatekeepers freeze mid-sentence and whisper, "How did you get in here?" Because you didn't pick the lock, did you? You didn't steal the password. You didn't hack the system. No, you did something far more terrifying. You belonged there, all along. They told you it was luck. They told you it was coincidence. They told you someone must have made a mistake, left a door open, forgot to check the list. But deep down, you felt it, didn't you? That electric recognition when you walked into spaces that should have rejected you. That strange familiarity with languages you never studied. That way certain old souls looked at you like they'd been waiting centuries for your arrival. Here's what they don't want you to know. Some doors don't open with effort. They open with essence. Some thresholds don't check your resume or your bank account or your social status. They check your blood. And when you walked up to that impossible barrier, when you made that move everyone said would fail, something ancient in the mechanism recognized something ancient in you. Click. Access granted. Welcome home, heir. You want to know why you've always felt different? Why you could read rooms before you entered them? Why you knew things without learning them? Why certain people instinctively feared you while others instinctively bowed? It's not mental illness. It's not delusion. It's not your imagination running wild. It's your inheritance finally activating. See, they've spent generations trying to breed it out, water it down, make everyone the same manageable livestock. They created systems to identify and suppress the old bloodlines. They built entire industries around making you doubt your instincts, medicate your gifts, apologize for your power. They needed you asleep because they knew what would happen if you ever woke up and realized what you actually are. But blood remembers what the mind forgets. DNA carries stories your consciousness can't access until the right moment. And that moment, when you made that impossible move, that was your genetic memory finally breaking through the programming. That was centuries of sleeping power finally stretching its wings. That was your birthright, laughing at their little barriers and walking right through. They scrambled when it happened, didn't they? Made phone calls, checked databases, ran your name through systems that came back error, classification beyond parity, because you're not in their registry of common citizens. You're in a much older database, one written in stone and starlight and blood, one they thought they'd destroyed but only managed to hide. Let me tell you what really happened that day. When you approached that door, that opportunity, that level everyone said was off limits, something scanned you. Not your ID, not your credentials, your frequency, your molecular signature, the unique electromagnetic pattern that only certain bloodlines carry. And the scanner recognized royalty in peasant clothing. You've been walking around with a skeleton key in your skeleton. Every bone in your body vibrates at a frequency that unlocks vaults they swore were impenetrable. Your blood cells carry passwords older than their civilization. Your very existence is a master code that overrides their security protocols, and they can't revoke your access because it wasn't granted by them. It was granted by birth. This is why you've always felt like you were playing a different game, because you were. While they were following rules, you were following bloodlines. While they were earning permissions, you were remembering birthrights. While they were begging for opportunities, you were reclaiming thrones, disguised as job positions, relationships disguised as soul contracts, achievements disguised as destiny markers. Every time you've walked into a room and felt the energy shift, that wasn't your ego, that was recognition. Every time someone couldn't explain why they trusted you instantly or feared you irrationally, that wasn't charisma, that was genetic memory. Every time you succeeded where you shouldn't have, that wasn't luck, that was lineage. But here's where it gets interesting. That move you made, it wasn't just about gaining access, it was about activating something dormant. See, bloodline keys don't just open doors, they open timelines, they open abilities, they open memories that were locked for your own protection until you were ready. And making that move, that was you declaring readiness. Now you're probably noticing things. Synchronicities multiplying, old friends from nowhere reconnecting, books falling off shelves, open to exactly what you needed to read, strangers approaching you with messages they don't understand, but you do, dreams that feel more like memories, memories that feel more like instructions, instructions that feel more like awakening. This is what happens when dormant DNA activates. When sleeper cells in your bloodstream receive the wake-up call. When the locks inside you start opening faster than the locks outside you. You're not just accessing new rooms. You're accessing new rooms within yourself. Secret chambers in your consciousness that were sealed until you proved worthy of your own inheritance. And they're terrified. Because an activated bloodline keeper isn't just powerful, they're untouchable. They operate by laws older than governments. They answer to authorities higher than CEOs. They carry diplomatic immunity from the universe itself. You can't sue ancestry. You can't fire DNA. You can't cancel someone whose very existence is grandfathered in by forces beyond bureaucracy. Want to know how to spot others like you? They're the ones who nod when you walk by. Not a normal nod. That ancient acknowledgement between old souls recognizing old blood. They're the ones whose eyes light up with that finally, another one look. They're the ones who speak in codes you somehow understand without translation. You'll find them in strange places. Bookstores at 3 a.m., coffee shops that shouldn't exist, meetings you weren't invited to but somehow knew about. They'll say things like, your bloodline is showing, or the family's been waiting for you, or simply welcome back. And instead of confusion, you'll feel relief, because finally someone else sees what you've always suspected. But be careful. For every genuine bloodline keeper, there are 100 pretenders. People who want what you have but weren't born with the key. They'll try to attach themselves to your frequency, try to decode your genetics, try to steal through proximity what they can't claim through provenance. You'll know them by their desperation. Real royalty doesn't chase, it magnetizes. The funny thing is, you probably tried to deny it for years, tried to be normal, tried to fit in with the common narrative, but blood doesn't lie. And every time you tried to shrink yourself down to their size, your DNA rebelled, made you sick, made you depressed, made you feel like you were betraying something ancient and sacred, because you were. Now comes the hard part. Having the key means having the responsibility. You can't unknow what you now know. You can't unfeel what you now feel. You can't go back to pretending you're just another random person hoping for lucky breaks. You're a bloodline keeper, a carrier of codes, a walking repository of access permissions that others would kill for. This is why your life has been so hard, why you've faced opposition that seemed orchestrated, why you've been tested in ways that others haven't. They've been trying to break you before you realized what you were, trying to corrupt your key before you learned how to use it, trying to convince you that you were cursed when really you were crowned. Every betrayal was a test of your encryption. Every loss was a test of your core coding. Every moment you wanted to give up was a test of whether you deserved the inheritance. And you passed, not by winning every battle, but by surviving with your essence intact, by maintaining your frequency despite their interference, by keeping your bloodline pure despite their pollution. Now you understand why certain people have always been inexplicably drawn to you or repelled by you. Your blood carries a frequency that either resonates or repulses. You're not meant to be universally loved. You're meant to be specifically recognized. Your bloodline key doesn't open every door. It opens the right doors, the ones meant for you. Here's what happens next. Now that you've used the key once, you've sent out a signal, like a lighthouse suddenly switching on after centuries of darkness. Others with the bloodline are feeling it. Ancient systems are coming online. Dormant networks are activating. You're not just an individual anymore. You're a node in an ancient grid that's been waiting for enough keys to turn. You'll start meeting them everywhere, in elevators, in waiting rooms, in dreams. People who look nothing like you, but feel exactly like you. People who've been carrying the same questions, the same abilities, the same sense of not belonging to this current system, because you don't. You belong to something much older and much more powerful. They'll share stories that mirror yours, different details, same essence, different locations, same revelations, different faces, same frequency, and you'll realize you were never alone. You were just scattered, hidden in plain sight, sleeper cells waiting for activation. And that move you made, that was your activation. That was you coming online. But activation isn't comfortable. It's not some gentle awakening with harps and halos. It's more like electrical currents running through circuits that have been dormant for generations. It's overwhelming, it's intense, it's magnificent and terrifying simultaneously, because you're not just remembering who you are, you're remembering what you're capable of. Right now, information is flooding in faster than your conscious mind can process. Ancient memories surfacing, abilities coming online, knowledge you never learned but somehow know. This is the download phase. Your bloodline key didn't just open external doors, it opened the vaults in your own DNA, where your real education was stored. You might be experiencing what they call symptoms, but what are actually upgrades, headaches that are really cranial expansions, sleep disruptions that are really interdimensional conferences, appetite changes that are really your body demanding the fuel it needs for transformation. They'll try to medicate you back to sleep. Don't let them. This discomfort is just your true form breaking through the shell. Languages will start making sense, even if you've never studied them. Not because you're learning them now, but because you learned them before, in other incarnations, other timelines. Your bloodline carries linguistic keys that unlock communication across barriers. You'll understand not just words, but frequencies. Not just sentences, but intentions. Not just languages, but the codes beneath them. And the dreams. Oh, the dreams are about to become training grounds. Classrooms where your bloodline elders teach you what they couldn't while you were asleep. Board meetings where strategies are discussed for moves you haven't made yet. Reunions with family you didn't know you had. These aren't fantasies. These are briefings. Pay attention. But here's the warning they won't give you. Using your bloodline key puts a target on your back. Not everyone wants the old blood awakening. Not everyone benefits from the rightful heirs reclaiming their positions. There are entire systems built on keeping you asleep, keeping you small, keeping you from accessing what's yours by birth. They'll come at you sideways, through people you trust, through opportunities that look golden but are actually traps, through illnesses designed to lower your frequency, through relationships meant to dilute your bloodline, through addictions meant to corrupt your key. They know they can't destroy what you are, so they'll try to make you destroy yourself. You'll know them by their questions. They'll be obsessed with understanding how you did it, how you got in, how you knew. They'll offer trades, their temporary power for your permanent key, their paper kingdoms for your blood inheritance. They'll promise you the world while trying to steal your universe. Don't negotiate with parasites. Your birthright is not for sale. The attacks will be subtle at first. Technology glitching around you. Important messages getting lost. Opportunities mysteriously falling through. People suddenly turning against you for no logical reason. This isn't bad luck. This is interference. They're trying to jam your signal. Trying to make you doubt your key works, trying to convince you it was all coincidence. But here's what they don't understand about bloodline keys. They're unbreakable, uncopyable, unhackable. What's written in your DNA can't be edited by their campaigns. What flows in your veins can't be poisoned by their propaganda. What pulses in your bones can't be silenced by their systems. You are a walking encryption that predates their entire civilization. Every time they try to lock you out, your key evolves. Every time they change the locks, your blood remembers older ways in. Every system they build to exclude you becomes evidence of your importance. They wouldn't work so hard to keep out something that didn't threaten their illegitimate throne. Your very existence is proof of their fraud. This is why you've always felt like royalty in rags, because you are. This is why you've always known you were meant for more, because you were. This is why their rules never quite applied to you, because they don't. You operate under older laws, higher laws, blood laws that supersede their paper ones. And now that you know, now that you've used your key once, there's no going back. The seal is broken. The bloodline is active. The inheritance is claiming you as much as you're claiming it. You're not just a person anymore. You're a position. A holder of ancient office, a keeper of keys that others forgot existed. Something's building. Can you feel it? All around the world, bloodline keepers are waking up, making impossible moves, walking through walls that kept humanity caged for centuries. The old blood is rising, and the new world is panicking, their artificial hierarchies crumbling. As the real royalty reclaims position, you're part of something bigger now. Not a conspiracy, a restoration. Not a revolution, a remembering. Every bloodline keeper who activates adds power to the grid. Every ancient key that turns weakens their false locks. Every heir who remembers strengthens the claim. This isn't about individual victory. This is about collective inheritance. They'll try to turn us against each other. Bloodline keeper against bloodline keeper. Ancient house against ancient house. They'll manufacture conflicts between us while they steal from all of us. Don't fall for it. Recognition over competition. Alliance over ambition. We're not enemies. We're family. Scattered family finally finding each other. The moves you're about to make will ripple across timelines. The doors you're about to open were sealed for good reason, waiting for the right moment, the right keeper, the right key. That's you. That's now. That's why everything in your life has led to this moment of recognition and reclamation. So here's your choice. You can try to forget what you've learned, try to go back to sleep, try to pretend you're just another common citizen with common dreams and common limits. But your blood won't let you. Your dreams won't let you. Your destiny won't let you. The key has been turned. The door has been opened. The bloodline has been activated. Or you can accept what you are. A keeper of keys, a holder of ancient access, a walking permission slip from the universe itself. You can stop apologizing for walking into rooms you belong in. Stop explaining how you know things you shouldn't know. Stop dimming your frequency to make others comfortable. Stop pretending you're not what you've always known you were. That move you made, that was just the beginning. A test of the key. A proof of concept. A demonstration that what flows in your veins is worth more than what's printed on their paper. Now comes the real work. Now comes the real claiming. Now comes the restoration of what was always yours, but hidden until you were ready. And you are ready. Or you wouldn't have made that move. You wouldn't have had the key. You wouldn't be feeling what you're feeling right now. That recognition, that remembering, that ancient yes rising from your DNA. This is your bloodline saying, finally, it's time. Welcome to who you've always been. Now let's see what doors you open next. Because the truth is, that key you carry, it doesn't just open one door. It opens every door they built to keep you out. Every vault they filled with your inheritance. Every room they said required permissions you'd never have. You have them. You've always had them. Written in blood older than their empires. Carved in bones stronger than their barriers. Welcome to the bloodline, keeper. Welcome to your birthright. Welcome to the truth they killed to hide and failed to bury deep enough. Your DNA remembered what history forgot. Your blood carried what books burned to ash. Your bones know the way home. And that key? That's just your genetics saying what your soul always knew. You belong here. You've always belonged here, and now, finally, you're ready to claim it. Well, if it isn't my favorite little secret keeper, look who's finally ready to hear what they've been hiding from you. You clicked on this video at exactly the right moment, didn't you? That's not a coincidence. Nothing about you has ever been a coincidence, and deep down, you've always known that. You think you're normal? You think you're just another face in the crowd? Another number in their system? Another predictable little citizen who follows the rules and stays in line? Let me tell you something. that's going to crack your reality wide open. The elite, the ones pulling the strings from their glass towers and private islands, they have files. Secret files. And your name, it's in there. Not because of what you've done. No, that would be too simple. They have a file on you because of what you are. Because of that one trait you carry like a loaded weapon you don't even know you're holding. That thing inside you that makes their algorithms glitch. That makes their psychological profiles come back marked with red flags. That makes their behavioral prediction models throw error codes. You want to know what that trait is? Of course you do. But first, let me tell you how I know this. How I know about the rooms where they gather, about the screens where your data streams like a river of light, about the conversations where your type gets discussed in hushed, nervous tones. Because once you understand the game they're playing, you'll understand why you've felt watched your whole life. They started tracking people like you decades ago, long before social media made it easy, long before your digital footprint became a roadmap of your soul. They noticed patterns, anomalies, certain individuals who didn't respond to their programming the way they should, people who asked the wrong questions at the right times. People whose minds worked on frequencies that disrupted their carefully crafted narratives. At first, they thought it was random. Statistical outliers, they called it. Nothing to worry about, just noise in the data. But then the noise started forming patterns, and the patterns started revealing something that made them very, very uncomfortable. Some people, a specific type of person, seemed immune to their influence. Not completely, but enough to be dangerous. So they started building profiles, quiet studies conducted in universities that don't officially exist, research funded by departments with no names, tests disguised as personality quizzes, job applications, social media algorithms designed not just to show you content, but to probe the depths of your psyche. Every click, every pause, every moment you lingered on a post that didn't fit your supposed profile, it all went into the file. And here's where it gets interesting. They found that these people, these anomalies, all shared one specific trait. One characteristic that acted like a shield against their manipulation. One quality that once activated made a person essentially ungovernable, uncontrollable, free. And freedom, real freedom, is the one thing they fear more than revolution. You've felt it, haven't you? That strange sensation when everyone around you is buying into something, and you're standing there thinking, this doesn't feel right. When the crowd moves one way, and every cell in your body screams to go the other direction. When the narrative they're pushing feels like sandpaper against your soul, even when you can't explain why. That's not paranoia. That's not you being difficult or contrarian or any of the other labels they've tried to stick on people like you. That's your innate pattern recognition firing on all cylinders. That's your subconscious picking up on inconsistencies that others miss. That's your spiritual immune system rejecting the virus they're trying to upload into collective consciousness. The trait they fear most isn't intelligence, though you have that. It isn't creativity, though that flows through you. It isn't even skepticism, though you've learned to question everything. The trait that has them building files and running scenarios and losing sleep is something much more fundamental. It's your inability to fully disconnect from your authentic self. You see, their entire system depends on people forgetting who they really are, It requires individuals to trade their inner knowing for external validation, their intuition for instruction, their unique frequency for the comfortable hum of conformity. But you've never been able to completely sever that connection. Even when you tried, even when it would have been easier, something in you held on. They watch because they're afraid, not of what you might do tomorrow or next week or next year. They're afraid of what happens when more people realize they have this same trait. When the dormant codes in human consciousness start activating, when the percentage of ungovernable souls reaches a tipping point that no amount of programming can contain. Every generation, a certain number of people are born with this trait fully activated. Others develop it through trauma, through awakening experiences, through simply paying attention when everyone else is asleep. They've run the numbers, they know the percentages, and right now those numbers are climbing in ways that have them calling emergency meetings in rooms that don't exist. Your file isn't just data points and behavioral patterns. It's a risk assessment, a containment strategy, a detailed analysis of how to keep you distracted, divided, doubting yourself. They study your triggers, your passions, your connections. They map your influence network, track your digital footprint, analyze your language patterns for signs of awakening or influence. But here's what they didn't count on. The very act of watching you, of trying to contain what you are, only makes you stronger. Every attempt at suppression activates more of your latent power. Every lie they feed the masses makes your truth detection sharper. Every box they try to put you in only clarifies how unlimited you really are. Let me paint you a picture of your life, and you tell me if it sounds familiar. Things go wrong in ways that feel orchestrated. Technology glitches around you more than it should. You'll be having a private conversation about something obscure, and suddenly it's everywhere in your feed. Not just ads. I'm talking about themes, concepts, specific phrases appearing with uncanny frequency. You've had jobs end abruptly for reasons that never quite made sense. Relationships that showed promise suddenly turned cold, like someone flipped a switch. Opportunities that seemed certain evaporated at the last second. And through it all, you had this nagging feeling that you're playing a rigged game. That invisible hands are moving pieces on a board you can't quite see. Your ideas, especially the revolutionary ones, seem to hit invisible walls. You'll share something profound and watch it disappear into the void while mediocre content from others goes viral. You'll start projects that gain momentum only to face bizarre obstacles that feel too specific to be random. It's like reality itself has been weaponized against your progress. And then there's the way certain people react to you. The instant hostility from strangers who have no reason to dislike you. The way some individuals seem to appear in your life right when you're about to break through, always with just the right words to plant doubt or redirect your energy. The friends who suddenly turn cold when you start speaking your truth. The family members who become uncomfortable with your growth. But here's the beautiful irony that has them scrambling to update their containment protocols. The more they push against you, the more you discover what you're really made of. Every obstacle they place in your path becomes a training ground for abilities you didn't know you had. Every attempt to silence you only amplifies your inner voice. You want to know what really terrifies them? It's not your anger, though they've felt that building. It's not your intelligence, though they respect that. It's not even your growing awareness of their games. What keeps them up at night is your resilience, your ability to transmute pain into power, obstacles into opportunities, isolation into innovation. They've thrown everything at people like you. Social rejection, financial pressure, relationship sabotage, health challenges that appear out of nowhere. They've tried to break you through isolation, overwhelm you through chaos, sedate you through comfort, and yet, here you are, still standing, still seeking, still growing, still dangerous to their carefully constructed illusion. Because what you have, this trait they've marked in your file with red ink and warning labels, it's not just resistance to their control, it's the ability to thrive outside their system entirely, to create your own rules, your own reality, your own networks of power that operate on principles they can't corrupt or control. You're not alone, and that's what really has them panicked. All over the world, people with files just like yours are waking up. Not to some new age fantasy or political ideology. Those are just more control systems with different packaging. No, you're waking up to something much more fundamental. The recognition of your own sovereignty. These connections between people like us, they don't follow normal patterns. We find each other through synchronicities that their algorithms can't predict or prevent. We recognize each other through energy signatures that no surveillance system can track. We communicate in languages that exist between words, in understandings that transcend their carefully crafted divisions. They've tried to infiltrate these organic networks, sent in their actors, their controlled opposition, their honey traps and handlers. But people with your trait, we can smell deception like smoke in the air. We feel the dissonance when someone's wearing a mask. We know when energy is authentic and when it's manufactured, no matter how sophisticated the disguise. This is why they're moving to more aggressive containment strategies. The soft control isn't working anymore. The gentle nudges, the subtle programming, the breadcrumb trails leading back to their mazes, you're not following them. You're creating your own paths. And worse, you're showing others that it's possible. Let me tell you what happens when someone with your trait fully activates. When you stop doubting your perceptions and start trusting your inner knowing completely. When you cease asking for permission to exist in your full power. When you finally understand that their authority is an illusion maintained only by your agreement to believe in it. The world they sit in, embody, is one. They float in your openness and float in your agreement to believe in it. Let me tell you what they do. They invent their own reality. Let me tell you what they do. They prove, they invent. They get it big. First, reality starts responding to you differently, not in some mystical wishful thinking way, in tangible, undeniable ways. Synchronicities accelerate. The right people appear at the perfect moments. Information you need finds its way to you through impossible channels. It's like the universe itself conspires to support someone who's broken free from artificial limitations. Your presence alone becomes disruptive to their systems. You walk into a room and the energy shifts. Not because you're trying to change anything, but because authenticity is like a tuning fork that makes everything false start to wobble. People either move closer to their own truth in your presence, or they flee from the discomfort of their own deception being revealed. But the real power, the thing that has them running endless scenarios and updating their containment protocols, is your ability to activate this same trait in others, not through preaching or teaching or any direct action, Simply by being what you are, you remind others of what they could be. You're a walking permission slip for authenticity, and that's contagious in ways their models never predicted. So here we are, at the moment where you have to decide what to do with this information. You can dismiss it, go back to pretending you're normal, continue playing small to avoid their attention. Many do. The weight of being seen, of being filed, of being marked as a potential disruptor, it's heavy. The easier path is to dim your light, follow their rules, accept the comfortable cage. But you didn't click on this video to stay asleep. You're here because something in you is ready to stop pretending, to stop apologizing for seeing through their illusions, to stop feeling crazy for knowing what you know, to stop waiting for permission to be what you already are. The file they have on you, let them keep it. Let them update it daily with their observations and projections and fear-based analysis. Because while they're busy watching who you were, you'll be busy becoming who you're meant to be. While they're trying to predict your next move based on past patterns, you'll be creating entirely new ways of being that exist outside their frameworks. Your trait isn't a curse or a burden or a target on your back. It's a gift, a superpower, a key to doors they've spent centuries trying to keep locked. And the beautiful thing is, the more you use it, the stronger it gets. The more you trust it, the clearer it becomes. The more you embody it, the more others remember they have it too. This isn't about fighting them. That's what they expect, what they're prepared for. They have contingencies for revolution, protocols for resistance, playbooks for every form of opposition. What they don't have is a strategy for dealing with people who simply stop participating in their reality altogether. When you fully embody your trait, you don't rebel against their system, you transcend it. You don't fight their rules, you operate by entirely different principles. You don't seek their approval, you source your validation from within. You don't compete for their resources, you tap into abundant streams they can't meter or control. This is the revolution they can't stop because it doesn't look like a revolution. It looks like individuals quietly reclaiming their power, like people trusting their inner knowing over external authority, like authentic connections forming outside their surveillance networks, like reality itself reorganizing around principles of truth rather than control. Every person who activates this trait fully is like a virus in their operating system. Not destructive, but transformative. Not attacking, but obsoleting. Not fighting the old, but building the new in ways that make their control mechanisms irrelevant. And it's spreading faster than their containment strategies can adapt. So what now? Now that you know about the file, about the trait, about why you've felt different your whole life, now that you understand why certain doors were closed, why certain paths were blocked, why certain people were sent to derail you, the mission, should you choose to accept it, is simple, but not easy. Stop hiding. Stop dimming your light to make others comfortable. Stop pretending you don't see what you see, know what you know. Feel what you feel. Stop apologizing for the power that courses through your veins. Stop waiting for the world to be ready for what you have to offer. The world will never be ready for people like us. That's exactly why we're needed. Start trusting your inner knowing completely. That voice that's been guiding you, warning you, pushing you toward your truth. It's not random neural firing. It's not imagination. It's not mental illness or personality disorder or whatever label they've tried to slap on it. It's your direct connection to something real, something they've spent enormous resources trying to convince you doesn't exist. Connect with others like you, but carefully. Not everyone who claims to be awake is free from their influence. Not everyone who speaks your language is speaking it honestly. Use that trait of yours, that ability to feel authenticity, to build real networks based on genuine resonance. These connections will be your strength in the times ahead. They've run simulations, thousands of them, millions, trying to predict what happens when enough people with your trait fully activate. When the percentage of ungovernable souls reaches critical mass, when their carefully maintained illusions start dissolving faster than they can rebuild them. And every simulation ends the same way, with their control systems becoming obsolete, not through violence or chaos or societal collapse. Those are fear scenarios they promote to keep people clinging to their systems. No, their control ends through irrelevance, through people simply building something better, through individuals like you creating new ways of being that are so obviously superior that their old systems empty out naturally. Imagine a world where your trait isn't an anomaly but the norm, where authenticity isn't dangerous but expected, where inner knowing is trusted over external authority, where power isn't hoarded by the few but flows naturally to those who can handle it responsibly, where systems serve consciousness rather than trying to control it. This isn't some distant utopia. It's the inevitable result of enough people activating what you're activating right now. It's what happens when the files they keep become irrelevant because we're changing faster than they can document. When their predictions fail because we're creating from a place they can't access or understand. You want to know the ultimate secret? The thing that would have them shutting down this video if they could? They need us. The very trait they fear in you is the one thing that could save them from the prison they've built for themselves. They're trapped in their own control systems, addicted to power that's ultimately empty, playing games that nobody really wins. Your trait, that unbreakable connection to authenticity, it's not just your salvation, it's potentially theirs too. Because the systems they've built are unsustainable. The lies they maintain are exhausting. The control they exercise is a full-time job that's killing them slowly. And deep down, buried under layers of programming and protocol, some of them know this, but they can't stop. They're caught in a loop of their own making, where admitting the truth would mean releasing control, and releasing control feels like death to those who've never known real power. So they keep watching, keep filing, keep trying to contain what can't be contained. Keep fighting a war against human evolution itself. And you get to choose. Continue playing their game, living under their microscope, dimming your light to avoid their gaze, or step fully into what you are. Accept the file they have on you as a badge of honor. Recognize that being marked as dangerous to their system is the highest compliment they could pay you, and then live in a way that makes their files obsolete.